Hello there, Eagles fans, and welcome back to our Eagles Therapy Podcast. My name is Basil.
And I'm Baz.
And we are recording Friday, December 1st, 2023. My voice is a little healed up from last time, I think. How about yours?
Yeah, well, our voices were trash from yelling at the game, but you were a little bit under the weather as well. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still coughing, as you can tell, but a lot better than I was earlier, so I'm starting to get that strength back. Looking forward to Sunday to where I can just destroy it again. Going to be a lot of fun, but we're recording just the day after the, I guess I don't really want to mention the game. One of our division rivals defeated another conference rival or conference opponent. I don't want to talk about that game.
Our next opponent 2 weeks from now.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about that right now. We're going to go ahead and just jump in. We'll, of course, be talking about the Eagles and Niners game coming up. Some roster changes, some injury report, comments, other news, and I got a little surprise segment for my dad here I haven't told him about. So I'm excited, looking forward to that. But going right into it, as always, we want to give a shout-out to the Eagles fan club, Philadelphia Eagles fan club in Colorado Springs. In. I was saying of, and it's actually in. Sorry. Yes. We are part of that group. Go ahead and join it if you're an Eagles fan who lives in the area. We'd love to have you. And then if you want to come down to a game at Frankie's, we are there for every game on Powers and Galley here in Colorado Springs. If you ever want to visit from Philly, you can probably look up on Google Philadelphia Eagles Bar, and it's going to pop up pretty early because there's a lot of comments in there about
that's that. How a lot of the people that I'm talking. We talk to everyone every week and look around for new people, and usually, we find out where they're from and how they found out about us, and it's always, we Googled it, or I'd been here before once last year or something. So
yeah, absolutely. So starting off, Eagles versus the San Francisco 49ers, a conference rival, looks like it's becoming. Playing them Sunday at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time, 2:25 p.m. here in Colorado Springs. Dad, you got a weather watch for me?
Yes, I do. It's going to be another bad rainy day game, which is probably going to work to our favor, which is good this week. We have the, we've been pretty good about not trolling fans of other teams, but this week I'm done with that because, as a lot of the different people I listen to, they're calling them the 40 Whiners. So maybe you can make a hashtag 40 Whiners on this podcast. But we've got the 40 Whiners coming in, and it looks like it's going to be raining. 45 to 50 degrees, just like last week, just like the week before. Hopefully, those guys get a little bit, they can't handle the rain or the cold. I know they're from San Francisco, but they usually play in the sunny stadiums. And, it's always a beautiful day out there. So
it's true.
Anyway, it's going to be 50 degrees, 40 degrees, raining, probably 80% chance of rain, wind 12 miles out of the west, 12 miles per hour. So it's not going to be a great weather day, but you know what? The way the season's played, we don't want good weather. We want it raining and snowing every week.
It's so true. It's funny how our good weather days, the good weather games, don't even really they don't really help us out in any.
It has not. It has not.
Any little piece of, So it's been nice to have bad weather games for us. So we'll take it. We'll take it this time.
We're not fumbling, so hopefully they fumble the ball a few times because of that cold, rainy, wet. They're not really used to.
Absolutely. All-time series record against the 49ers. The 49ers lead 20-15-1. In the postseason, we are 1-1. Of course, the most recent postseason matchup being last year's NFC Championship game. Everyone kind of looking forward to this as a rematch of that, of course. It is a big deal, and it's coming down to a lot of it. It's funny because we've talked about it every episode on the podcast. Aside from the Bills game, it has felt like every game the last 5 or 6 weeks has been the most important game of the season. Not the most important game for the Eagles. The most important game of the season. It felt that way against the Dolphins. It felt that way against the Cowboys, against the Chiefs. Feels that way against the Niners. It kind of felt that way when we were playing the Rams at one point because we thought they were still good.
Yes.
It's just funny how it changes every week. But it just feels like this is the most important game of the season.
Yes.
So much. And, after this week, next week's the most important game of the season.
Yes, it is.
Play Dallas again.
Yes,
and then after that, we got to play Seattle, and that becomes
at Seattle.
Playing at Seattle. That becomes the most important game. No, it won't be.
But we are down to the nitty-gritty here now. We've already talked about it. The gauntlet, as they're calling it now. Yeah. The gauntlet. We're, 4-0 in the gauntlet so far.
Depending on what you look at as the gauntlet,
yes. I would never say that Seattle should be a pretty easy game, although, I haven't been given much respect at all to Geno. I told you that last year or before this season started, that Seattle's not going to be a good team. Hashtag Seattle Seahawks. But, I'm hoping that, Geno, I knew he wasn't going to be the guy. There was so many people that were giving him the crown last year when he come back player of the year, and he did play well, but he's looked awful this year.
Yeah,
he looked great.
He had a great game last night. But
so let's hope that's more on the Dallas defense than it was on the Seahawks. But, DK Metcalf is one of those receivers. So, as we've seen, none of the games are easy games. But, we're hoping that we get through this gauntlet. We really only have to go 2-1 in the next 3 games.
No.
2-1.
3-0.
I'm just saying we can go 2-1 in the next 2, even 1-2, which I don't want to really talk about. But
no.
Once we get to the end of the season, we should have it locked up. So,
Absolutely.
But yeah, the best way to do that is to win this game, put away the Niners, put away the crying, put away everything else.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing I have to say, and I don't know how much time you want me to spend on this, but
okay.
it seems like our next couple opponents, they're having a little bit more rest than we are.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of happened that way. Now, we were both on our bye when we played Kansas City, which was a Monday night game?
It was a Monday night game, yes.
Okay, so then then we had to go play Buffalo on a Sunday.
Yep.
I don't know when they played the previous week, and that was a Sunday late game as well, which kind of helps.
Yeah.
But then both teams that we play in the next few weeks.
Niners and Dallas both have, they both played on Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And then, we play the Niners on Sunday,
right,
so they have 10 days of rest,
That's
whereas
right.
we only have 6.
And then next week's game.
Then Dallas played yesterday, so when we play them, they will have 10 days rest, and we will have had only 6. And then
that's right.
And then
6, not even 7.
And then we will have played Sunday night against Dallas, and then we got to go play the Seahawks. No, I'm just kidding. The Seahawks will be playing Sunday, so that one's more
Seahawks
evenly.
has been moved to a Monday night game.
True. So we have the equal arrest on that one.
But and here's the other thing I don't want to say. I watch a lot of shows on the national scope. All the big ones take, and Undisputed and things like that. And one of them was talking about how the Eagles and the Niners, neither of them have any real injuries. And I kind of look at them like, now I don't know much. We shotgun this thing, and we know our Eagles, our schedule. We know our players. But if you don't know that the Eagles have been banged up in the last 5-6 weeks, you don't know what you're talking about. So just stop talking like that. And I know we're not making any excuses, but we come out of this game with a win. Just like we did Kansas City and Buffalo, injured both of those games. We had guys that were missing. And, they don't make head nor tail about that. They just talk about the drop or the penalty or the Eagles are getting help and anything like that. But
yeah, I guess I've been confused because I, too, have been watching. I watch a lot of Speak. That's my big one. I watch Colin Cowherd. I watch a lot of those, too. And I've been confused because they are saying going into this matchup, the Eagles are healthier than San Francisco. And it's confusing because, San Francisco, they have Brock Purdy back. He hasn't been hurt.
No.
They have Christian McCaffrey. They got Debo back. Brandon Ayuk back. Trent Williams back.
They're back.
Well, we just had Lane Johnson miss a game, and
yes,
he's still possibly questionable for this game. Now, he is most likely going to play.
Yes.
He plays through some tough stuff. But,
right. But still,
he was hurt last week. We lost Dallas Goedert for 4 or 5 weeks.
That's right.
What do you mean more? What do you mean more healthy? Like I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this injury report, and we've got about 13, 14 guys on it, and on theirs, there's 6. So I just don't understand how do you say that?
Yeah,
like I don't understand. Our quarterback got his knee broken 3 weeks ago.
I mean, he was gimpy early in the year, and again, no excuses. This is the way it goes, but it just seems like they are able to cherry pick when they want to, and talk about us in a bad.
I just don't
bad degree, bad way, but
and you're right, not to make excuses because if we lose, I'm not going to be. Well, we were this is the game of football, much like when a quarterback gets hurt in a football game, like in a wild card or in a NFC Championship game. Yeah. It's just a part of.
Or you're playing on a field that's slick as ice in the Super Bowl. I mean,
it's just part of football. It's part of football. Don't
it is.
No,
it is. And it's also gets to the refereeing. Like you can talk about that, but that's the way it works. If they make a bad call, you got to deal with it.
Sucks. I mean, we saw it last night happen to the Seattle.
That's right.
I didn't even watch the game, really. I know you were. I can't.
I was peeking at it.
I can't push myself to watch them play. But in the last 25 years, well, I guess I want to say real quick, like I was saying, I won't make excuses if we lose because we're more injured, but I just don't understand where you get the topic of them being more injured. I just don't understand where that came from. I'm looking at the injury report. Like tomorrow or tonight, when the injury report was released, did some of them go, "Oh, we were wrong"? No, probably not. But I'm just confused. What do you mean that we're healthier? But okay. Last 25 years, Eagles lead 9-5. That's good.
Ooh, there you
pretty
go.
Good there.
Yeah, I saw that today.
Yeah. So like I said, they're 20-15. They lead 20-15 all time. We're 9-5 in the last 25. So we've made up some ground in the last 25 years.
Oh yeah. Ever
since I've been born. So that's good. Dad, do you have a favorite 49ers memory?
Yes, I do. And the one I picked for this particular segment was the 49ers were at the Eagles October 29th, 2017. That year probably rings a bell in your mind. Yep. Okay. Well, at the time we played them, the Eagles were 7-1, and the 49ers were goose egg and 8, so they were 0-8.
Yeah.
We beat them 30. 33-10.
Yeah.
Let me find my score here somewhere.
C.J. Beathard or something was their
Yeah,
quarterback?
he was the quarterback, and it was funny because some of the people that played in that game were it was pretty wild. You got Corey Clement led the rushing on the Eagles for 10 carries for 54 yards.
Wow.
Second was Blunt, 16 for 48 and a touchdown. Alshon Jeffrey, you might probably even remember this play.
I remember it.
53-yard touchdown pass.
Great.
Where he kind of jumped over a guy and kind of juked him out.
He got like tackled in the air while going into the end zone. It was awesome.
Yes, made a great move.
Great play by Wentz.
Jake DeMake Elliott, he had 2 field goals, one from 40 and of course one from 51 because it wouldn't be a day without him kicking a 50-yarder.
That would have been like his 7th game ever, huh?
Yeah, it was. yes, for sure. Kittle was 2 for 22.
Wow.
And here's a real name, a blast from the past for you. One Barnett blocked the field goal.
Whoa.
And not just that, then he picked up the ball and was pushing people out of the way. He looked like a beast back then.
Wow.
That would have been his rookie season as well.
That was Kittle's rookie season too.
I think
he was,
so.
Yeah, it was. I looked it up. He was not he was nobody at that time.
Yeah.
But 500 yards only.
Then I was looking at some of the other games, and I think in 2020 when we played, it might have been 2021, he had like 163 yards receiving. So, they stopped him then. Hopefully they can stop him this week.
Yeah, absolutely. I was trying to find a memory that wasn't last year's. It's hard to.
Sure.
So last year's was just such a great memory because it was just it's just funny how the game worked out and everything. And I do have to say, sorry, I'm retracting back into it, but I just have to mention some of this stuff. I know everyone talks about it, so we don't want to stay on it too long, but about the whining and the crying and everything that happened last year. And it's hard for me to, as an Eagles fan, it's just funny, going into that game, we had just beat the Giants. We had just rolled the Giants. Right. The Niners squeaked past the Cowboys.
Yes.
And it's just funny because when we won and there was all this complaining about how, it wasn't fair and yada, yada, and got hurt, I was blown away because I didn't think they had a chance in that game.
Right. You're saying that. Yeah.
I was telling you already, going into that game, there was no stress at all. I was more worried about the Giants game.
Right, because they had a good game week before.
It's funny because I did not have any fear of the Niners. There was no, the Niners, they're coming to the link. No, They're coming to the link. It's Brock Purdy's second playoff game ever.
Right.
Dude, I don't care if he played 60 minutes.
Right.
They were not going to win that game.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it. Now, this year's different. I'm not going to say the same thing. I'm not going in this game the same way I was last year.
Right.
They're a better team than last year, and we're not as good a team as last year, I believe.
Well, we haven't showed
we at least haven't showed it.
But we've definitely got the moxie.
Yeah, absolutely.
More than most teams.
We've got
to come back.
We've got this, I don't know, it's the veteran presence. It's the experience to say we can win. They just have that ability.
It's the stoic disposition of Jalen.
But it's
Hurts just does not react to anything. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
It's just funny because for me last year when there was whining and complaining and we didn't have enough quarterback, their quarterbacks got hurt. Yet I just can't believe they thought they had a chance in that game. I know I'm gonna hopefully a Niners fan comments and gets all mad at me. But I just didn't. I was blown away that they thought they had a chance with a rookie quarterback going to the lane.
Right.
I can't believe they thought they had a chance. It's just funny to me. The way we were last year, there was no option for them to win that game.
Right.
There was no outcome where they won that game.
Yeah.
I don't care if he played 60 minutes. I don't care if he played 90 because we went to triple overtime.
Right.
It wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Okay. Going on to my favorite Niners memory. I didn't want to talk about last year's because, I just did.
Sure.
But that's probably my favorite one. But I can remember, I believe it was 2013, and I may be wrong, maybe 2014, when we had Sproles. Sproles had a punt return for a touchdown against the Niners.
Oh, that's
and in that game, we also had a blocked punt in the end zone to recover a touchdown.
Nice.
We did lose that game, so I don't like to choose those as my favorite memories.
Right.
But that is one of Sproles' biggest
big play.
His punt returns were always so big. He tied Deshaun Jackson's punt return totals. He had 4. Both of them had 4, and Sproles did it in much less time. So it's just kind of cool.
Yeah.
Going on, Eagles looking forward to. Eagle we're most looking forward to. Dad, who do you have this weekend?
So hopefully I don't jinx him because, my record has not been that great this season. But I got Nolan Smith again. There's a lot of us at the at my table down at the old the club we watched the games at who are all pretty big fans of Nolan Smith.
We call it the sophomore table.
Rico's a big fan. So is Mike Roman. I mean, these guys are always, saying this guy's the future. He's going to be the man. So he had 11 snaps last week. And I know I was disappointed to hear it was that low, but I showed you a few plays that I found on one of the guys that I think it was Matty Dubs. He's also a YouTuber, and he did that isolation type video where you show Nolan Smith in action.
The all 22. Yeah.
Well, okay.
All 22 is where it shows every player on the, and you could, yeah.
Right. So he showed 2 plays in particular. So even if it's just 2 out of 11, that's a lot better than the guy he's replacing or taking over for had done. But he had 2 excellent plays. One of them was the result of an interception with Blankenship's Bradbury's interception. Yeah. But Nolan Smith put some pressure on him prior to a few plays earlier. It might even been a lot of plays earlier. But he came busting off the side on the left side of the quarterback, and he slipped. He slipped on both of these plays. But the first one he slipped, got up and almost sacked him. And then in the second one, you could see the quarterback looking out of his corner of his eye. So he threw that quick pass, and that was the one that Bradbury picked off.
So interception, yeah.
He definitely made a play. And if you get a chance to watch that replay or you tape the game and you can rewatch it, just watch that little segment, because after the play, after the interception where Bradbury goes down, you'll see on the left side Nolan Smith jumping up and down, knowing
you could tell
that he was the one. He knew he made the effect. He knew he made a play.
Yeah,
now he's probably selling it so that the defender coaches say, "Oh, look at him!" But he was super happy in that. Yeah. And of course, we went ahead 28-24 after that.
Oh yeah, huge.
We scored right after that. So
2 plays later,
he was a huge effect.
Oh yeah,
we're just looking for that to become more of a standard or a weekly thing. You know, He's been struggling. He's been having a hard time. But again, like you were saying to me, he's only a rookie, Dad.
Yeah.
And he's trying to learn on the fly, and he's playing with a really good team. So breaking that, that starting 11 is not an easy thing to do.
No.
And you got a new defense coordinator who's still learning his own players now, trying to work a rookie in. I mean, our Carter, our D tackle, he's making plays so they can keep him in. But hopefully, Nolan Smith is the guy this week. I don't want to go on too long about him, but
for sure,
I'm hoping. Like heck that he makes some plays for us.
Yeah, absolutely. My guy is going to be Hassan Reddick. Our buddy Mike Roman, he commented on one of our episodes saying that his pick for this week was Josh Sweat. He thinks he's going to get him a few times this week. But I'm going on the other side of the line, going with Hassan Reddick. I feel like Hassan Reddick, obviously I don't know him personally, and I can't speak to how he feels. Like, of course I don't know, but I think that he probably takes some offense to the 49ers whining. The fact that last year, Brock Purdy got hurt and we would have won. I have a feeling, he's obviously the guy that hit his arm, and that's what ended up hurting him.
Right.
And it just feels like Hassan Reddick, he probably takes it personal. He probably takes offense to the fact that they think, this guy, he cheap shot at our quarterback, or he knocked our quarterback out, and he also knocked the second one out with Josh Johnson.
That was a fumble that he should have recovered.
He should have recovered. But he had 2 sacks in that game.
Yeah.
Both of them knocked out quarterbacks. Or I think he got a sack, but I think Ndamukong Suh got the sack on the other one that knocked Josh Johnson out. But still, he had 2 sacks in that game. And I have a feeling that it just feels like Hassan Reddick probably takes that personal. Probably takes it. Yeah. Just the fact that they think they were going to win that game, despite what I did, I would have got him later on. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. I just feel like this is the game to look forward to. I think he had a big advantage in the matchup against Mike McGlinchey last year. I can't remember what their right tackle's name is right now. I think he has an even bigger advantage over him. I don't think he's that great.
What's Trent? Trent's on the left side, right?
Well, Trent Williams left side. That's Josh Sweat. So
gotcha.
That's the big worry about Josh Sweat this week.
That's also Nolan Smith will be on him too.
Correct. Yes.
Hopefully, he can make some moves.
Yes, but Reddick, he'll be facing against. I can't remember his name. Trevor? No, I can't remember. Right tackle. He'll be facing against him, and I think he's got a big advantage on that. So
good.
This is my week to look at Hassan Reddick, because I really think he takes offense to last year and that whole business with everything. And I'm sure he did in the Chiefs game too, with the field conditions, that he was able to finally get to Mahomes. So I have a feeling he's going to be gunning for Purdy a lot there in this game.
Another thing I have to say about Hassan, he's got 8.5 on the season.
It's great.
But I think the last 2 games, definitely last game, I'm not sure if the game before that too, was where he had got 2 intentional groundings, which takes away his sack. And I was talking about that
it's a bummer.
The last few weeks, but they got to fix that rule. But anyway, especially the one that they called this last week, it was just awful.
Yeah, it's just a bummer when they do that intentional grounding.
Well, they make it sound like, when
quarterback's like, well,
he's down, right? And then they call loss of down. Well, if he was sacked, it's
a loss of down.
It's not a loss of down. It's next down up.
Yeah.
So it's not like you didn't lose 2 downs. Like if they did that, that would be a good rule. But You know what I'm saying?
No.
Why do you say that? Lost it down. You go, well,
because it's if a guy intentional grounds on third down,
penalty.
it's fourth down.
Right.
Even if you accept it, it's fourth down.
I got you. Yeah, because a penalty usually.
So a
makes
sack
you
does.
repeat
Here's the
down.
thing: a sack does the exact same thing as intentional grounding.
Yes.
They get down there. Now I understand the difference is one's penalty yards, one's sack yards.
Right.
It just I don't know how you do it because it is kind of impossible. You can't just give a sack to every intentional grounding call ever.
Yeah.
But if he's like this, if he's like Josh Sweat had Mahomes around the waist, going to the ground, and Mahomes throws come on. It sucks because it takes the money out of these guys' pockets.
Right.
But it also it takes a stat out of their everlasting stat. Think about in the 90s, these guys were intentional grounding. There was a sack. It's a sack. He's down. He's down.
Right.
Why do you think Reggie White has 198 sacks?
Yeah. Well, it's funny how they do that. Like you said, the criterion, like they used to sack, and Ben can tell you this. They used to sack Randall, and he would just have his shirt. They would just be pulling his shirt. He's running away.
Call him in the grass.
And he'd be in the grass. And there's probably against him 30 sacks, if not more, in his career. That he would also be in the grass and then shake the guy off, and then they'd whistle it dead, and you're like, he's over there running.
Oh, yeah.
And the defender's on the ground because he shook him on the ground. So, I really think they need to at least look into that rule.
They got to find a way.
They got to look into the rule.
If he's horizontal, it's a sack. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
If he's now horizontal, they should call it a sack.
Yeah.
I don't know. If he's in the hands of the defender, I don't know how you do it. That's why I'm not on the rules committee. I'm just a lowly
or at least give the defender
podcast host
some stat. Intentional groundings.
Caused.
Like you got forced fumbles. You got fumble recoveries for defensive linemen or whatever. A sack. Tackle for loss.
Yeah.
Intentional grounding permitted or
I don't know, something like that caused. Yeah.
You go ahead.
What do you have as your matchup of the game going into this, Dad?
Well, I think again it's going to be their defense. Their defensive line, especially with them getting young recently, they're just super powerful. In the past, we've been able to run at Bosa, right?
Bosa, yep.
And I think and I hope that we can run the ball again. I mean, we did it last year. That was the other thing. And again, I don't want to beat to death the NFC Championship game, but the thing that their quarterback was out. I understand they have no offense, but the Eagles ran all over the defensive line last year for the 49. I mean, I don't know how we finished with. I bet you it was up in the 180 to 210 range, but we ran all over them.
Yeah.
And that's not. I mean, I know. We ran more plays because they couldn't get any offense generated. But there was a game that just happened this past week where the Buffalo Bills ran 91 plays, but you take away the quarterback's running yards, and they didn't run against us at all.
At all. Yeah.
I think we brought it up in the post game or the recap podcast.
Yeah.
Their three other running backs were held 3.3 yards a carry or below.
Oh, yeah.
So
I get you. Yeah.
So, yes, I think hopefully our running game versus their defensive line or their defense for that matter. I don't really care about the line, but you're going to have to do something because they are going to get after our quarterback and they're going to get in. So we got to have some plays that can either run right at them. Like that's one way you get that slow rush down. And, another way is to have the short pass with a screen, which really has not worked for us this year. But
yeah, we're playing Chase Young for the third time this year. I believe he got a sack, maybe two against us earlier this year. He kind of made Mailata look like a little kid.
He's a great talent. He's great. He's a great player.
And I feel like going to the Niners it boosted his career again. I mean, it really rejuvenated him.
Well, he doesn't
a lot
do
of
it
times,
all. Yeah.
A lot of times guys have to go, when they go to a different place, it's a whole new look on life.
Yeah,
almost,
well, quite frankly, for him as his career, if you look at his career overall, he hasn't really garnered
you would think
number one first round pick.
It would be pretty disappointing. I wouldn't say not a first round pick, but I would definitely say not a second overall.
How many has he got for his career sacks?
In his career of sacks,
I know he missed some years too.
He's got 15 and a half.
In his career.
Yes. Now
number one
that's
pick.
Only in 37 games.
That's okay. That's not bad.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Considering the fact that he missed almost all of 2022, he only played 3 games.
Towards ACL, right?
He only played 9 games, so he missed a lot. So in 37 games, in 32 starts,
right,
he has 15 and a half sacks.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's number 2 overall pick status, but it's still first round, end of first round. But he's still.
I'll give you that.
His career's still going, and he's still young, and he's still really good. He's a great talent.
He is young. His name is Young. His last name is Young.
Matchup of the game for me is Hurts against the defense. I think this game comes down to Jalen Hurts. We can't have a game he's had the last few weeks. I understand we've came back, we've won. It's been cool, but Chiefs, we threw an interception last week against Buffalo. Interception and a fumble, correct?
Yes.
Yes, the horrible worst fumble.
Don't bring it up.
Worst fumble I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
We
That's my line.
Even against the Dolphins, he had a pick six and a fumble.
Yes.
I mean, it's just we can't have this happen. This
it's not sustainable, like we know.
Yes, this is a team. The Niners are a team that they're built to go up and to destroy you, much like the Cowboys are.
Yeah.
They go up
at home.
They go up ahead, but yeah, they go up early by 2 scores, 14-0, 10-0, and then they destroy you. They just demolish you. The defensive line gets you. Their offensive line sticks back and runs. Right. Christian McCaffrey can run. Brock Purdy has wide open targets. They are not a team to win from behind. It's the same thing I said about Dallas. When they played against each other, my boss, who's a Cowboys fan,
right,
she was like, "Oh, who do you think, Niners or Dallas?" I said, "Whoever goes up by 2 scores first." Because whoever goes up by 2 scores first, the other team, the Niners and Dallas, they're not teams built to win from behind.
Right.
They go up ahead, and then they just crush you. They destroy you. They get turnovers. They get fumbles. They get interceptions. They get sacks. That's what you have to do against the Niners. We have to go up early because going up early against them, they will start to flake. They'll start to crumble. They can't do it. So you just have to go up early against these guys, and Hurts has to do it. Hurts is going to have to avoid these turnovers. We can't have 3 and outs. We can't have turnovers.
Yeah.
We need to score 3 out of our first 4 drives.
Yeah,
I'm not saying just touchdowns, but we need to go up. We need to score 17.
Yeah, we need our offensive coordinator to start balling, to start making some calls and making them look silly, kind of like that touchdown last week to A.J. Brown, which was just unbelievable. Yeah, just a great play drawn up.
It is.
Because everyone thought that ball was going to stall because he ran over 2 guys prior to that, and then he just flips the ball to A.J. wide open.
We need to score 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. We need to score 10 points or more in the second quarter. You have to go up against these guys. You can't play a game. You can't let them be in the game.
Right.
That's how good they are. Going over to the 49ers team stats. I'll go ahead and talk about their offense first. They are 3rd overall in total yards with almost 400. They are 3rd in the league. Passing yards, they're 8th, 250 a game. Rushing yards, 7th at 136 a game. Points, they're tied for 3rd at 28.2. Third down percentage, this is the scary one. 44.4%. They get a first down. That's 5th in the league. Our defense is horrible on third down of any kind. 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 15, they're probably going to get it. That's just how bad our team is on third down, but that's okay.
Yeah, it is.
Defensively, total yards, they're 5th. They allow 315 a game. 12th in passing, 213 a game. 2nd best rushing team. 2nd best in the rushing.
That's huge.
And that's where it's scary. We're going to have to beat them in the air because they're number 2. We're number 1, but they're number 2. Points, they are the best team defensively as far as points
per
go.
Game.
They have only allowed 15.5 points per game. That is 1st in the league. Third down percentage, this is where their Achilles heel is. They allow a 39.9% of the time a third down.
Okay.
That's 21st in the league.
That's not good.
That is the only statistic for them that's out of the top 15 across their entire team is third down percentage on
We've
defense.
had some games this year where we were, I think, the top third down team at one
We were number 1, and I believe
we've kind of...
We might have lost it during the Bills game, but we are now 3rd.
Yeah.
On third down for defense, we're 30th.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's horrible.
That's not
We
good.
allow it 45.5% of the time.
But, last week they got, I don't know how many, 9 or 14, I think I read. So the Bills game didn't help us. And how many times, at least 2 times in the game, we had the quarterback grabbed.
And then we didn't,
and we didn't put him down.
We're now 3rd in the rushing defense. We went down. We did go down.
Okay.
They're 2nd. We're 3rd.
Well, yeah, because what's his name ran for 81 yards.
And we're now 3rd in third down percentage on offense. We went down over there too. Bummer.
That's one game in the rain.
So this is another team. I said it again against I said it about the Chiefs. They match up well against us. We're going into this game without one of our linebackers. They've got a great running back and a great tight end. And
and a great linebacker.
That's scary. Yeah, they also got a great linebacker, and we don't have a good tight end.
You cut the head off the snake. If you can stop McCaffrey from running, knock him around a little bit. He doesn't like being hit.
No,
I'm not a big fan of his because I know he's a crybaby, and I've heard inside stories about his personality not being the best. So there's another one for you, 40 Whiners. Take that one and eat that one.
I don't know him, of course, personally.
No,
I do have some friends who were good friends with him and grew up with him because they are from the Castle Rock area out here in Colorado. Heard some Not so great things about them, about that family, just about kind of how. I mean, they said they're very competitive, and that's cool. I'm competitive too, but I guess they're competitive to a certain degree that makes them almost violent. So
yeah, takes it over the top.
I don't want to mention anyone because I don't want one of their family members to see this, and then I just got them in trouble. But
we don't want Ed McCaffrey coming down here from there.
Yeah,
his dad, who was a great receiver.
Oh yeah, they're all great. They're all incredible athletes. But yeah, we'll see. He's a great player, and we really wanted to draft him. You know, I got to say that we were begging.
I remember.
2017, 16.
We wanted Mariota too, though. Maybe we'll get McCaffrey in a few years.
We got Mariota. Yeah, we'll get McCaffrey another 6 years.
Then we'll love him, right?
Yeah. Moving over to some roster changes, jumping off the game. We signed Ben Van Sumer into the active roster. Big deal. He's a tackle machine. I don't know about his coverage. I think he's really good in the run game. He's kind of a bigger linebacker, so he's not really great in pass coverage. But we'll see if he gets involved in the run game this week. Probably won't bring him in that much, but he'll get some time on special teams.
Let's hope.
We signed Cam Sims to the practice squad, wide receiver. We signed Josiah Scott back to the practice squad. And then saddest thing of the year, we released Greg Ward from the practice squad.
Yeah.
Something I don't like to see. Something I still don't understand. I've always loved Greg Ward. We've always been big fans of him.
Great.
I'm sure there's not an Eagles fan out there who's not a big fan of him. It's a bummer to see. I'm sure he's not done. We probably will sign him again next week. But if this is it, it's just a bummer.
It is.
I hope
the ultimate team player.
I hope he goes to another team because he just was great for us. Yeah. And I know when he was leading our team in receiving, we didn't have the best receiving core in the world. I get that, but he was a part of some really memorable games for us back in 2019, 2020. And it's just a bummer to see him just get kind of sidelined.
Give up on him.
They just kind of sidelined him, and it's just a bummer.
I was hoping they'd bring him up this year, a couple of games.
It just confused me all the time because it was last year and the year before. He was on the practice squad or the fourth or fifth receiver, and J.J. Arcega-Whiteside was on the field.
Right.
Or Jalen Reagor was on the field.
Right.
It's just
like,
where the hell's Greg Ward at? Sorry for my language.
Well, no, the guy that makes catches, the guy that plays hard.
Catches everything.
He does catch everything. He's like Greg Garrity was in the old days.
I just don't get it. I don't understand. It's funny when people say, they're limited as an athlete. A lot of people say that. He's Greg Ward, you know what you're going to get. He's limited. What do you mean he's limited? When I saw him play, I know he probably wasn't playing against the best teams in 2019. He was playing the Giants, Washington, the Cowboys. At the time, it's not like they were all duds, but
no,
dude, we need. He was great. That's like the Travis Fulgham thing, which I don't want to get into, but we'll have a podcast about that one day. God, I can't talk about the Travis Fulgham thing enough. But big last thing for roster. It doesn't affect our roster yet, but Zach Ertz was released by the Arizona Cardinals. We've talked a little bit about it off screen, but go ahead and share your thoughts on this. What
my thoughts would be I really liked him when he played for us. He was great.
I
think at one
loved him.
Yeah, I did too. But I always thought it was kind of with him and Wentz. It's kind of limited our offense because he would throw it to him 15 times a game.
Yeah,
which I mean, a tight end in my brain, in my world, is you're using him and he's kind of your hidden secret. He's your guy you go to, and they go, "Oh no, we didn't cover him."
Yeah,
and that's what. Goddard's been for us, really. I mean, he's been, he's had his games where he's had his 4 or 5, but he's never really done 100. He's had his 5 or 6 catches, 4, 5, 6. If you get him in the 60, 70 range, but without me going on too long, I definitely think if we could get a chance to sign Ertz, and it's got to be a good financial deal. I heard he's got $2 million left and $11 million next year or something, and I'm like, there's no way. So if he clears waivers, he becomes a free agent, then you can negotiate something. But
he cleared waivers today, so
it would be. Goddard knows him. He knows our guys. He may not know this offense because it's kind of warped a little bit, but he definitely knows the guys on the team, and they love him, and he knows what to do. I mean, he's an 8 to 11 yard catch guy, and he's fairly tough. He could never break a tackle, but that goes without saying.
Yeah.
But he was a Super Bowl winner for us, and he was
Super Bowl hero.
I got a picture of him downstairs in the basement that I didn't want to donate to the bar because it's too popular for me. It took me a couple of years to get it.
It's in the bar now, but yeah.
Yes, but not mine.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I would love to have him on the team.
Yeah.
Obviously, if we brought him in, it'd be a cheap deal, a limited role. He's not becoming the number 1, even probably number 2 guy.
Yeah.
He would be number 2 pass catcher at tight end, but I can't spend too much on him. He is older on the wrong side of 30, probably on the wrong side of 33. He's
had his injuries, right?
He's had some injury problems before. Towards the end of his career with us, it was kind of hard to watch him because I don't know if it was just his passion was kind of gone or he was losing. Maybe he was just slowing down. But in his last season with us, I remember just watching, constantly being like, is he even running? Like, it looks like he looked like Alshon in his last year. Alshon, it looked like he was the slowest 30-year-old I'd ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's true.
He was like, can he run? Like, what happened?
Yeah. And
that's what it felt like watching Ertz in his last season or season and a half with us.
He had a good year in the Cardinals, right, in Phoenix?
He had an okay year.
Not fantastic.
I think 1 year he had like 500 yards, which
that's
respectable enough. And I don't think it was even a full season with them. So,
yeah,
he's 33 right now.
Yeah.
I've got him here.
And I know, he wasn't the greatest blocker.
First year with the Cardinals. So here's the thing. That year, 2021, in 6 games with us, he only had 18 catches for 189 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That was when Goddard became the main guy, so I understand. But
yeah.
In Arizona,
and it was a bad year, too.
Yeah, horrible.
Bad year.
In Arizona, with 11 games played, he had 56 receptions, 574 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
So that's 10 yards a catch.
In 11 games, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty awesome.
And they were a pretty good team at the time, I think. Up and coming.
I believe they were.
I
believe you're right. Yeah. Last year in 10 games, he had 47 for 406 and 4 touchdowns. This year in 7 games.
So less than 10 yards a carry.
Yeah. Catch. Yeah. This year in 7 games, he only had 27 catches. So it's on the wrong side of the age, but I'd still love to see him back in green.
They didn't cut him. He actually asked for his release.
Yeah. I'd love to see him back in green, and I think it'll be maybe a Chase Young type thing where it rejuvenates him a little bit. Just being back in the city he loved for all those years.
Yeah.
The city that he brought a Super Bowl to and is a hero.
Yes.
If he moves back to the city of Philadelphia, he'll never pay for food or beer again.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and talk about the injury report. Big injury report, like I mentioned. A lot of big names, a lot of painful injuries that we're seeing. We can't afford to lose these guys, and we're losing. It's unfortunate. But Fletcher Cox, he's questionable with his groin injury. Zach Cunningham, hamstring, he's going to be out. Justin Evans with his knee, he's going to be out.
Well, he hasn't been around, but go ahead.
They're going to put him on IR.
Yeah, just
Grant Calcaterra with his ankle, he is questionable. Dallas Goedert with his forearm, he is doubtful. I don't really know why they even.
Well, he practiced from what I heard.
Yeah,
that's good.
He's not coming back, and I don't expect it to. I don't want him to. You take it easy. Julio Jones with his knee, he is listed as playing. And then the rest of these guys were full participants. They don't have designations, so they're all going to be playing most likely. A.J. Brown with his thigh, Jordan Davis hamstring, Lane Johnson groin, Devontae Smith knee, DeAndre Swift ankle, and Milton Williams concussion. So good news there, getting a lot of guys, even though they're on the injury report, they're most likely not really hurt. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, it's just to take it easy. It's the big thing.
You didn't mention Carter, right? Carter's not injured at all.
He was not on the injury report.
We need Carter. We need Davis. Davis was amazing last week. I watched a few recap shows on him, isolated shows on him.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know how many tackles he finished with, but it looked like he had 30 tackles. He was just incredible. Hopefully he can keep it up. And man, that play he made on Allen out to the right side. Yeah. Oh, my God.
It'll be nice to have Milton Williams back, losing Fletcher.
Definitely.
Thankfully, we can have Milton Williams back.
Definitely.
And Cox is still listed as questionable, but I just don't imagine he plays. But Williams coming back from that concussion, that's just a big deal. More rotation, less snaps per guy.
Yeah.
Big thing.
Just a break. I mean, some of those guys, somebody had 80 snaps.
Yeah,
Sweat? I think it was Sweat.
Yes, yeah. Well, Reed Blankenship had the most snaps since 2001, I think.
By anyone.
Because he played, anyone since 2001, because he played 92 on defense and then like 30 on special teams.
That's crazy.
Most snaps by a player since like 2001 or something like
crazy.
That. I'll go to talk to our comment section. Just a shout out to some people who've been commenting. Mike Roman, as always. Lane, my buddy up in Denver. JJ, Rich, my dad's coworker. Mike Rabeda, my dad's brother. Mary, my sister. No other teams fans this week. We didn't get any.
We didn't get trolled at all.
No, I know. It's a bummer.
The Bills Mafia was in there the week before.
Yeah.
Or Mafia Mom, whatever he called himself. Yeah. But it was fun. It was good banter. It
was good.
Nice back and forth. It's funny because sometimes I get these comments and I read them and I go, I'm going to write something. And no, don't do that. We need subscribers. We want to keep people. We want to pull some people in. So, But then I reread it and I thought, okay, this is good. It was just, and then after he finished, he said, well, we can both hate the Cowboys and the Chiefs together. And I said, you're right, buddy. Come on down. So that was kind of cool.
Going to jump into some other news. The Philadelphia Union, they lost to the FC Cincinnati, unfortunately, so they are out of the playoffs. A year after they lost the championship, just a bummer to see.
Yeah.
Overall, pretty disappointing season. We really thought they'd have a chance to win the Eastern Conference, and they just didn't have the fight this year.
They got a great fan base, man.
They do. They really do.
I'd love to go to a game there.
I know. We went to the one in Denver last year against the Rapids.
That was cool.
Rapids, yeah. And man, it was even the Union fans that were there were great.
Yeah, that was cool.
Which I was kind of like, there's Union fans out here? Like, it's so
Denver?
weird.
Yeah,
so weird.
That was weird.
Flyers, they're 1-4 in their last 5, not too good, but they're 6-3-1 in their last 10. So that's cool. That doesn't make sense. They're 6-4. They must be 7-4 and 1 in their last 10.
Okay.
6-3-1.
Well, I know the Sixers are playing the hated Celtics tonight, but
yeah, the Sixers are playing Boston right now.
Yeah,
I was looking at the score. They were leading earlier.
Oh, nice.
They're still leading now, 96-95, but it's the end of the third quarter.
Wow.
They're 5-5 in their last 10. They haven't been great. They lost a bummer last night. They were down like 25 or 30 at one point.
Right.
And B didn't play, which was a bummer because I placed a bet the day before, and then he didn't play. So that was a bummer because I didn't know that. And my other bet hit, which was the Nuggets to win, and I just need the Sixers to win. I would have made like $40. Sucks. So thanks a lot, Sixers. I got a new segment. Not really a new segment that we're going to do all the time, but just a little thing I'm going to throw in here for my dad. I want to ask him this. Hey, Dad, can you predict? Not predict. I'm sorry. Can you guess my top 5 Eagles worst draft picks?
Oh, wow. Well, one's going to be, number 1 is not number 1, but I would say number 5 is Danny Watkins.
Okay.
The fireman from, 2011. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Well, gosh, let's see here. Okay, let's think. Number 1's got to be our best friend, Jay.
Yep.
Rager.
Yeah, that's right.
JJ's got to be in there. Sorry, JJ, no offense, but JJ Arcega-Whiteside.
Yep.
It's got to be number 2 or 3.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see here. Who else do we have that could really? Well, there's so many. But what was the kid's name that was a kick returner? We drafted him 3rd overall. He got in trouble with guns.
Talking about Josh Huff.
Yes.
Yeah, he was a 3rd-round pick.
Man,
so
I really wanted him to be good.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
Not on the
not
list?
on there. No.
Okay.
He's a 3rd-round pick, so it's kind of hard to put him in there because
True.
A little too low to have high expectations.
So it's got to be a 1 or 2, huh?
Yeah, usually 1s or 2s is what I have on here.
So let's see.
Everyone else is a 1. Wow. There was 1, 2, and you got him already with Whiteside.
Well, let's see. No, I don't know.
Okay.
You got to give it to me.
My number 5, you were close, but my number 5 is Marcus Smith.
Of
Marcus
course.
Smith,
2015?
2014.
Ugh.
We drafted him 1st round, 26th overall. We had no idea who this guy was. That was terrible.
Barnett? Did he make the list?
I did not put Barnett on there.
Okay.
I couldn't because he is a Super Bowl winner.
He won a Super Bowl.
I can't. It's hard to do.
He was part of the Super Bowl run, too. He made some
Absolutely.
plays. Yeah.
The sack in Minnesota.
Although he only
recovery.
had total sacks in his career?
I don't know. There's
21.
We're moving on. Well, you talk about Marcus Smith. He had a total of 6.5 sacks in his career. So there you go. Drafted 26th overall. We didn't even know who this guy was. That was terrible. My 4th one was Danny Watkins. You were right there. That is the lineman that we drafted in 2011. I believe when we drafted him, he was like
26
or
he
something.
Was 26
and you're like,
years
what?
Old.
A 26-year-old rookie?
Yep.
No, thank you. My number 3 was J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, so you're right there, close there. He ended his career with only 16 catches for 290 yards and 1 receiving touchdown, and that's in his career. That's all with us.
Number 2 pick, right?
He was a second round pick. Yeah. He's on here at number 3 because we could have drafted DK Metcalf. Metcalf was drafted the next pick, and it's not that Metcalf is, I wouldn't say he's a top 5 wide receiver in the league, but he's up there. We saw him last night.
A great compliment. I mean,
absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So Whiteside is my number 3 worst draft. My number 2 is Freddie Mitchell.
Of course.
Drafted back in 2001.
Championship.
He was a part of a Super Bowl run. He was part of 4 NFC Championship games.
Yeah.
But in his career, in 4 seasons, he had 1,263 yards total. Yards per game was 20 yards per game total.
That's amazing.
14 yards per reception.
How many touchdowns?
Only had
6?
5 touchdowns. So 5 touchdowns in 4
seasons.
5 touchdowns in 4 seasons.
Number 1 pick.
1,263 yards in 4 seasons. And what's that? 350-ish a year, a little bit less than that. 345. That's just atrocious.
Yes.
I can't believe that.
4th and 26, Freddie.
Yeah, he had a great play. We can always remember that. He had a great play.
He had one great game.
That's how I
told
feel
you about. Remember one of the playoff games? He recovered a fumble in the end zone, and he was against the Packers. But man, he played that game.
I think it was against the Vikings.
It could have been the Vikings, but he was everywhere that game.
Yeah. But, and then number 1, easy as can be, was Jalen Rager.
Of course.
Jalen Reagor was drafted in 2020. First pick, 21st overall. 21st. In 2 years with us, 2 years, he had 695 yards receiving. He had 3 receiving touchdowns. He had an average of 24.8 yards per game, which I guess is better than Freddie Mitchell.
Yeah, it is.
24.8 yards per game. And I already said it. Sorry, 3 touchdowns. And let me just remind you of this. 695 yards with us. His first catch ever was 55 yards.
Wow.
So 640 yards with us for every catch after that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so bad. What's his yards per reception? 10.1. So take away that 55 yarder.
Yeah.
What do you got? 8, 7.
6.
You got to be kidding me. This
Well,
was
the other
terrible.
thing about Freddie Mitchell, though, is he played on a team that was good, that had a good tight end, that had not great receivers, but it had some good receivers. And then I think, did he play with T.O.?
Yes. 2 seasons. 1 season.
I mean, with T.O., you got 8 people watching him. You should be getting hosted.
It's true. If you have a guy,
unbelievable. If
you're the third receiver to Terrell Owens and Todd Pinkston, who was not
bad,
not an all-pro, but in the Super Bowl year, he had 800 yards.
Yeah.
You know, he got yards. He was a deep threat. You're the slot receiver. You can't get 400, 500. And that's why Quez had such a disappointing season last year, was because we got Devontae and AJ and Goddard.
Right.
You can't get open. Why can't you get open?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
The 7th guy on the defense is covering you.
It's covering you.
The other 2 guys are doubled. Yeah, I know. It's amazing.
So the biggest thing about Reagor that makes him higher than Mitchell, that makes him higher than Arcega-Whiteside, is that, and I hate to remind Eagles fans of this.
They don't forget.
But we drafted him 21st overall, and still available was Minnesota Vikings Hall of Famer, legend, Justin Jefferson.
Yes.
We could have drafted Justin Jefferson. We could have had him on the team.
Yes.
He could have been our wide receiver for the next 15 years.
Yes.
He's going to be the greatest wide receiver ever when he ends his career. I'm going on record saying that. I've said it before 20 times.
I know.
He will be the greatest wide receiver of all time, and we almost drafted him. We were a pick, and it was an embarrassment because we drafted him, and then the next day they released footage of the Vikings front office watching the draft and laughing when we drafted Reagor.
But they didn't have to. We knew it.
Because they're like, oh, they're going to draft Jefferson.
It was a no-brainer.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
every mock draft, and I know mock drafts are right. Every mock draft had us drafting him. You and I said we're going to draft him. It was like, oh, if he's there, you have to take him.
Yeah.
And we didn't. We took Jalen Reagor, and it's a bummer. Now there is other side of this. Pardon me. There's another side of this where you have to remember, if we had Justin Jefferson, would we have ever drafted Devontae Smith?
Probably not.
Probably not. Would we have ever traded for A.J. Brown? Probably not.
Probably not.
But
we would have had another offensive lineman or another. We would have had Sauce on the team, something like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
we'd have Justin Jefferson. We
could have pointed somewhere else. And here's a guy like you say, Reagor. He's out of the league.
Well, he's on the Patriots practice squad.
He's out of the league. He's never coming back.
It's true.
Please.
Or I guess he's on the active roster.
That's now, it's funny. A little comment here. You know, when they draft a guy like that, I remember Vento used to always say, about Andy Reid. He knows he's the smartest man. He knows more than everyone.
Reid knows better than everyone else. Hope Vento's watching. Vento's been commenting too. We didn't shout him out.
Yeah,
Vento's been commenting too, but Andy Reid knows better than everyone else.
But it's so true, and that's the way I look at it. Like at the time, you think you're tricking somebody by drafting them, and that doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help your team, and it helps other teams. You know. So it's just unfortunate, but. Like you say, we might not have the team we have now.
Yeah, it's true. That's the other side to it. But let me just say this.
We could also have Reagor.
Let me just
Justin Jefferson on our team right now.
Let me just say this: in that draft, say that draft was a year before we drafted Whiteside.
Yes,
yeah, we would have drafted DK. Say we drafted DK Metcalf,
right?
And then next year we drafted Justin Jefferson,
right?
And then that draft we drafted Jalen Hurts,
right?
Jalen Hurts would have had DK Metcalf, and Justin
his
Jefferson.
Rookie season or
his
Wentz's
rookie
season.
second. Yeah, I know. Dude, I mean, that changes the whole thing.
I know.
What if Wentz was playing with those guys?
You never know.
You know,
He might have been the biggest knucklehead in the room at the time.
We can't go with what ifs because I hate what ifs. That's the worst thing in football.
It's true.
You know, if the ref threw, well, ifs and buts were candies and nuts, then every day would be earned to dunk fest.
Gosh.
So
there we go.
For my office lovers out there, let's get out of here. We're taking up too many people's time.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and say our goodbye. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. If you like our Eagles Therapy podcast, do us a favor. Rate and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. You could comment below any questions or comments or things you want us to talk about. Lane asked us who our favorite player was in the NFL. You said yours
Tua.
was... No, you said C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud. Yes.
Now, we went aside from Eagles, of course.
Yes.
Because I didn't want to be boring.
Right.
But no, yeah, C.J. Stroud. Mine's Tua. I know it's hard because that's the rivalry with Hurts. And they went to the same college.
Yeah.
You know, but I love watching Tua. So
if he's on, I'm going to watch that game. Or I'm
absolutely.
going to make it one of my 4 that I'm watching.
Yeah, I was
sure.
I was bummed when he was getting concussions because I think he's a great player. I love watching him.
He's
Thank
been
you,
fine
Lane.
this year, though.
Thank you, Lane, for the comment. But other than that,
Definitely.
You can email us your questions or comments at oureaglestherapy@gmail.com. But other than that, from all of us here at Our Eagles Therapy Podcast, my name is Basil.
And I'm Baz.
Go Birds.
And fly, Eagles, fly.